Robert, you're very welcome. To me, Robert, and many other people, you bring a whole new meaning to first class meal. Now, news of your round in Castle Rock probably came as a bit of a shock to quite a few people. What was the reaction like?
A reaction would be an understatement. There's a sort of wave of emotion just went through the whole village. Indeed, it's very hard to sort of to deal with. You know what I mean? And it's the same story for every household. You go into every house and people are in grief. It's a nice thing, don't get me wrong, but as I say, it's kind of hard to deal with. But we seem to get through it. The old stage and theatre helped out there with the acting ability and stuff like that. But it's a nice thing to deal with, if there is such a thing.
And Robert, you'll have met the odd character along the way.
Oh, there's plenty of characters in and about Castle Rock. There's one in particular that springs to mind, and he takes great delight in sort of pulling my leg, as it were. Now, I'm a very avid Chelsea fan, and he's into Manchester United in a big way. But he takes great delight and wait till I post the letters in his letterbox, and then I go to the next street, and that's when he comes out of the house and starts shouting about United, we're coming to get you, and all this. You know what I mean? And I took great delight when I had an audience behind me shouting back, by the way, I'm not mentioning any names, but he knows who he is. By the way, I bought a Manchester United lamp, and he cheered. And I said, it looks good in the middle of the table.
So, Robert, you're renowned for your sense of humour, but you had to get that from somewhere, and I believe your dad was a bit of a character and fond of writing the odd letter.
Well, a letter being the operative word. Now, my mum and dad have since passed away. There was one story in particular when I was writing the eulogy for Mum's funeral. Between my sister and myself, we got the job done. And that story was that Mum had a habit of opening everybody's letters, including my own. So there was a letter come in through the door from my father, Mr. Norman Ramsey Sr., private, confidential, to be opened by addressee only. But Mum, she opened the letter, pulled out this notice, and it said on it, nosy. My father had wrote it to her. Class.
So, Robert, you're a great man for one-liners. As a matter of fact, I call my wife the leader of the opposition, which I have to confess I stole from you, and I call her the ball and chain. But anyway, we'll not go there. But anyway, Cabaret was a big thing with you, with the late David McClarty and your partner in crime, Arnie. There's some stories from that?
Oh yes, great memories there. The late David McClarty, as you said, between David and another friend of mine, Arnold McCleary, that's kind of Irish, if you like. We had a duo, came out of three of us. The Ram came from Ramsey, and the Mac came from McClarty and McCleary. And between the three of us, I said, we made up a duo, Ram and Mac. We graced many a stage throughout Ireland, and we entered a few talent contests, and indeed winning a few on our way. We had some great laughs. And David, the jokes still go on.
And Robert, you scripted a lot of the local pantomimes and even appeared several times in The Wizard of Oz. Tell me about that.
Gave me great delight. 31 years with Coleraine Provincial Players. Started off as a bit player and then progressed to the writing, producing and indeed acting in them. And as you said, I had the pleasure of being on stage in my 31 years of playing the Scarecrow in 3 performances, and all 3 were totally different, believe me. And to say I had no straw in my brain would have been an understatement. It kind of helped. But great times, great shows. You had between 4,000 and 5,000 people came to those shows every year, which speaks for itself. I had the pleasure of being on stage with many iconic people: Sean McGee, Billy Bones, Arnie McCleary, and indeed David McClarty.
And Robert, you mentioned being a big Chelsea fan. Now, you went over to see Chelsea and did the sights of London. But little did you know you'd be back a year later. So tell us about that.
Oh, I'm proud and privileged over the 40 years that I've been with Royal Mail. I was Postman of the Year in 1997, and that in turn progressed to being nominated for an MBE in 99. As you said, I'd never been in London in my life. In about 98, we plucked up the courage to go and see them at Stamford Bridge. And after the match, we went and seen the sights and stuff, including Buckingham Palace. I was peering through the railings at this massive building. Little did I know a year later that I'd be looking out, going up those marble stairs with these guys standing at attention and these breastplates shining. You could saw your face in it. Amazing experience. Of course, Her Majesty herself pinned the medal on me, which was a proud, privileged moment. Never forget it.
Robert, thank you very much, and we wish you a long and happy retirement, and thank you for all you've done for this community. But there are a couple of other people who want to say a few words to you.
Robert Ramsey has been a stalwart of the local drama scene, and it was my honour to have shared the stage with him as a teenager in Korean Provincial Players, where my father was also a key member for many years. And I think it's underestimated, especially in these times of the arts maybe being a bit underfunded and unrecognised, just how much a local group like that does for the community. So I wish Robert all the best with his retirement, and I hope he has many happy years of peace with Hilary.
Hello Robert, although we're both of a similar era, I always remember you as the king of pantomime. Very well done on a tremendous career in the locality. The MBE says it all. You've worked really well, really popular. All the housewives at Castle Rock will never forget you, Robert. So well done and congratulations.
This is a very special message for a very special person, Robert Ramsey, our local postman who has spent many years in pantomime, not only in his job but also on the stage. Robert has always a smile on his face. He's someone I've met many times over the years. I met his father and his family and know him very well. A man of the community. I don't want to say too many nice things about him, because Robert wouldn't say too many nice things about me without a joke in it. He's always got a joke on the end of his tongue, and I have to take some credit for having given some of my best jokes. So it wasn't just that funny without my help. But it's a real privilege for me to be able to say, Robert, you've been a great help to all of us in the community, and we wish you a very happy retirement, and I'm sure it'll not be the last we see of you. You may well even get out and do some things that may make us all laugh again. Have a great retirement, Robert.